Garza! Yeah.
Swag.
It's an honor. I won't keep you. Let's get to it. Know what's behind you, but never look back. This may sound like a wise quote said by someone famous once, but to me it was just one of many common rules you had to follow if you did not want to get robbed or kidnapped in the streets of Mexico. Because you could be sure someone out there was out to get you. You have to be aware of anybody keeping their eyes on you by looking at reflections in windows or using your peripherals. Because once you look back, you will not see anything out of place. I was 6 years old. Growing up in that environment, the subtle fear for your safety everywhere you go becomes no different than breathing. That is why I will never forget the feeling of safety I got when I first came to America. It was just a visit to a border town, but we went to a mall and I knew what to do. That's when I noticed something weird. The people in the mall were too carefree and relaxed. They let go of their shopping bags when they sat down or tied their shoes. Kids were running around clothing stores nearly out of sight of their parents. It was unreal to me. So I asked my mother, and she said, "Oh, over here most people aren't out to get you." Just like that. I lived in Mexico for a good portion of my life in a decent neighborhood. Nobody ever told me I couldn't walk down the street or go shopping or just leisurely go about my business. So how come I felt like I shouldn't? Let's fast forward to 10 years later when the paperwork to come legally to America finally gets approved. We leave behind everything we knew, but we know it's for the better. And sure enough, my friends back home confirmed that. Crime starts rising, drug cartels become increasingly violent towards the general population. I hear their stories of my friends walking back from school and seeing the aftermath of cartel fights. Cars blown up by grenades and blood on the streets, the same streets that I grew up in. My family back home wants us not to come visit because they are kidnapping people on the highways. I fear for my family and friends, but surprisingly, they weren't that worried and said, "Well, not much has changed. You just have to be more careful when you're out on the streets is all." I am not who I was anymore. I no longer have to fear, but I can't ever allow myself to forget. All those years are part of the reason I am who I am today. Every experience was a lesson I might have to painfully experience again if I forget it. Besides, who's to say that even to this day, there is not someone behind me looking to get me?
Yo.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Oh,
It's a
man.
well-known phrase written in the Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. They echo in history as words of freedom and inalienable right to all human beings by their Creator. They resound deeply within me, for I thought it was free until I came to America. Beautiful America, where I can walk through my life without fear alongside so many others. This is my freedom. It may not sound like much, but it is a whole world to me. And I am infinitely grateful that I am able to live in it. And I am infinitely lucky to be able to be a part of the Air Force on top of that. To be a part of the group of people that upholds that freedom, that protects this world where we are free to walk forward without fear. Every single person in this room has a story, and no story was written without pain. We all were met with strife and tribulation that threatened to bring us down and keep us there. But we kept moving forward and arrived to where we are at right now. Yet for all the pain we leave behind us, we must never forget it. For it was every sweat drop and every tear shed that became the building blocks of who we are today. It is us who paved the way to freedom that others will walk. So as always, Mother was right. Her words ring true to this day, with a different tune this time. Look behind, but never look back. face forward as we walk down life, never forgetting all we have learned here today. So walk with me. This is only the beginning. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Colonel Bell, please come forward to present the remainder of the awards.
Next, we would like to recognize the recipient of the Sharp Image Award.
Established here at Tinker, this award is now bestowed at 10 additional Airman Leadership Schools. The winner will be receiving a custom military ribbon set and a handmade silver name tag, courtesy of Ultra Thin Ribbons and Medals.
This award recognizes its recipient for displaying immaculate dress and appearance and a professional military image.